Today we get a first, the first time that I have ever seen an officer use a laser sighting system on a pistol.
Laser beams.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's research-informed defensive lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I'm your host as always, John Correa.
And I'm your co-host, Mike Williver. Today's video comes to us from Linwood, California.
Magtech is the only Freedom Seed I use on the range. I personally have over 100,000 rounds downrange of Magtech, and it's unbelievably reliable, very accurate, and a great value. Pick some up for your next range trip wherever you shop for range supplies.
Los Angeles Sheriff's deputies are responding because the neighbor has called in that she can hear her neighbor screaming and hollering and there's a man in her house. And so they are responding to see what the heck is happening here. Let's listen into the badge cam.
He's not right here.
LA County Sheriff's Department.
He's got scissors?
He's got scissors in his hand. Hey, drop everything in your hand. Drop everything in your hand. He's at the door right now with scissors in his hand.
He's got scissors in his hand.
Drop everything in your hand now.
Check out. Watch out.
Hey girl, he's got a man at the door, scissors in his hand.
You can see her.
No, not anymore. You went to the other room.
Where's the aunt at?
Which door is he at?
He was at this one, but I think he's walking towards the front.
The LA County Sheriff's Department, if you're inside the house, come out with your hands out now. If you're inside Flores Avenue Boulevard, come out with your hands out now.
After surrounding and calling out for a while, they decide, no, we got to go in here and see what's happening. So you see they got some shields. They're going to come up here and kind of like bash out the window, but really hesitantly and kind of small. But then it's going to pop off and you're going to hear her screaming inside. They're going to act pretty quick at that point. Let's listen in and hear how this ends.
Screaming. He's grabbing her. Get in. He's grabbing her. Take it. Hey, 998. Flores. Come on. Hey, grab her feet. Just grab her feet. Hey, someone. Sheriff's Department!
Here's a picture of the knife that our perp was slashing into her with. As you can imagine, our officer shot at him 11 times. I'm not sure how many of them hit him, but at least 8 or 9 of them did. He did not make it. He took the hallway temperature challenge. No kidding. If you go read the news story, the lady in the house here was not punctured by this knife, even though her clothes were punctured multiple times. Apparently, Jesus gave her like knife proofing for the moments to get the officers in there because she was unharmed in this one. Holy crap, Mike, that guy took a lot of shooting.
He really did. I had to watch it like 3 times, and I'm like, he doesn't look like he's getting hit by anything, but he was, so that was crazy.
We're going to clearly see it. Those rounds absolutely hit him, and holy crap. Now, Mike, I do want to start off on this one by saying, we weren't there, and I don't have a total feel for the vibe, but it seems odd to me, the approach here, that it's very chill, even though he sees a guy who apparently doesn't belong with it, like scissors in his hand, and he tells him to put it down. that they then kind of treat this as a surround and call out. And because I'm not there and because we're not getting the actual vibe of what's happening, we don't know who's in command. Okay, I mean, you make that decision, but it feels weird to me.
Felt weird to me too, honestly, John. A lot of this did. We'll talk about that break and rake of the winter here in a moment. That really seemed weird to me. Listen, I feel like, I did law enforcement for quite a few years. I feel like if you get a call, you know you're at the right address, and it's someone's in my house, maybe threatening me, then you see a guy come to the door through the window holding a weapon, I'm going to call that probable cause to make entry. I'm going to call that an exemption to the Fourth Amendment, and let's go ahead and get in there. Let's kick this door down and see what the heck's going on. Because while you're doing all this out front, I understand their intentions were good, but while you're doing the surround and call out, hoping that he's going to come to the door, he's doing God knows whatever. I don't know what kind of observations, if they had eyes on the guy or what, but this whole thing seemed weird. A quick word about the break and rake. So when you break a window and rake it, usually that's for one of two reasons: a distraction, or it's to gain entry. It's the only way you can get in the house, right? You're not going to break a window quietly enough that people aren't going to hear it inside the house. That's not a thing. If you're going to break the window, just break the window. If you're worried there's someone on the other side, I understand the hesitancy to go crazy with it, but get the window broken, get that glass cleared so you can make entry, or don't break the window.
Yeah, go hard or go home, as they say. I agree. I think that, when you see that guy at the door there, that's probably meets the exigency requirements for a warrantless entry into the house. To preserve life, right? Now, I will give them props that once they hear this woman is screaming inside the house, now they got to go and they don't hesitate. And I love that. And Mike, I want to stop here real quick because I know some people are going to go, oh, wait a minute, they're leaving a bunch of uncleared space behind them and they're not, digging their corners. There's a time for that, for slowing your roll and digging corners and slicing pies and stuff like that. This ain't it. They have a screaming victim who they know they need to help. And when you have that, you flow to the problem as fast as you can and deal with the problem. And I really think they did well at that here.
So in the year of our Lord 2025, we have hopefully done away with and put to rest the most important thing is we go home at the end of our shift nonsense, because it's just that, it's nonsense. You sign up to be a law enforcement officer, a sheriff's deputy, a police officer, an agent. You're signing up in part to potentially risk your life to save the lives of others, to prevent others from being hurt or killed. And I think these guys knew that was the mission right now. We don't have time to pussyfoot around. We're not going to slice the pie and go methodically. Someone is potentially, probably being stabbed to death right now. Put yourself in the place of a family member of this woman. Do you want these cops more concerned about her safety and well-being or their own? They were more concerned with the citizenry of their jurisdiction, which I love, John.
I do too. I really think that these deputies handled their business pretty well. They flowed to the problem, and the first deputy through the door keeps going through the door until he finds the problem. You heard him. Sheriff's department. It's the sheriff's department there, which is kind of weird. It's not a sheriff's office there. It's a department. And then he runs to the problem and immediately solves the problem. And I have literally no challenge with that whatsoever because, again, you're in an immediacy problem here. This is not like, oh, hey, we got to figure out about where the bad guys are here. We know where they are. They're where the people are screaming. Now, the first guy in deals with that problem. He's going to have to deal with it by himself. But I also love here that our second officer, that she comes in and with help drags this woman out. Now, I want to say, some people are going to be like, wait a minute, she could be badly injured. Do you want to move her? The answer to that is yes. This guy's been trying to stab her to death, and you want to get her to a safe place where you have some room to work on her and she's not at immediate risk. And so, in this enclosed hallway just ain't a place you can help her.
Yeah, for 100%. I'll say this about that as well, John. Getting her moved was the right thing to do. No question about it, whether or not she's injured, for a number of reasons. One, as John said, you need room to work. If she has a puncture wound somewhere, you need room to work, get your med kit out and get to work on that, to cut clothes off and everything else. Plus, John and I have seen more than one person who appeared to be down and out reanimate like T2 and start shooting again or slashing again or whatever. That's a possibility. One quick tactical note. Once you've got this solved, right? Once you've got her worked on by someone who knows what they're doing, once you got this guy in handcuffs and secured, now is a good time, by the way, to go back and do a secondary and actually start checking the house to make sure there isn't a third or fourth party there. Something I wanted to add real quick, John, just in case that comes up and you find yourself in a situation like this. Once you have time, go ahead and check the house. Somebody could be hiding. We have no idea. Could be a little baby in there. We don't know.
Yeah, well, and that's under the corollary rule of always look for work, right? So, okay, we got that first problem. What work still needs to be done here? We need to clear this house. We need to make sure everybody else is okay. We need to get fire and medical in here. We need to get that guy into cuffs. So who's doing work? What work can I be doing right now? I love that the officer, his work right now is, let's get this woman out of here and let's get her triaged and make sure she's okay. Time to find out she wasn't actually injured, which is insane to me. I mean, just like magic potion +2 of knife resistance. Now, I want to say here too, our deputy that goes in, big foot here, let's get through the door, flow to the problem. Let's see what he saw when he first came in here. As we kind of pause and zoom in, first of all, I really think this is the first laser beam I've ever seen on the channel, certainly from a police officer. Notice that this guy has the ice pick grip. Is this man a deadly threat? Unequivocally, yes. And is this the right place to shoot him? A whole bunch.
I'm going to add something to that, John. The deputy who we saw run up, he knew it was go time, right? All the weirdness before, we're done with that now. She's probably being stabbed. I need to get in there. I'm the man for the job. I love that the other deputy was sort of hesitant about the door. He's like, no, I got this. Put his hand on her shoulder, kicked that door and got in there and got after it. Reminds me of me, actually, back in the day. I'll tell you something, what it takes to do that, you either have it or you don't. I can't really be trained. You either have the ability to put your own safety to the one side and act, or you don't. And I actually can't commend this guy enough. You know, the laser beam thing, when I saw it, I actually was taken aback a little bit. I don't think anyone still used those. So I don't know if this is an older, like Veterano, the old school 1911 with the Crimson Trace grips or whatever, but whatever's clever, he got in there and with a fairly difficult shooting situation, he got there to handle his business.
Yeah, I'm going to guess. Now, here's the next thing I want to talk about here, okay? So he puts the sights here. I don't think he hit him in the face, actually. I think as we watch, I'm going to end up here in just a second making it move forward, and you're going to see as the shots break, and you can see when that laser beam starts to lift. He's shooting relatively quickly, about 0.35 splits in real time here. I'm going to slow it down by a factor of 4 so that you can really see it. And I'm almost positive, and I'm going to show you why here, that these are actually 45. So you see that first one, there was a line down, so he hit him kind of in the middle of his chest. Now he's hitting him kind of in the top of his chest. I think a headshot, if he could have done that, would have been a better choice here, but he's going to eventually run out of ammo, okay? So you notice how quickly he's shooting here. He's shooting at a speed that he doesn't miss low and hit the victim. I think that's really commendable. You shoot at the speed that you know you can get your hits, and this guy did exactly that, Mike.
Yeah, so I hope that if you, as an officer or deputy, find yourself in a position where you have to discharge your firearm, that you don't rush it, right? We don't want you to be slow. We don't want you to rush things either. You need to shoot at the speed of your competency and your confidence. So what do I mean by that? I mean, don't just start blasting away. We saw one time, holy mackerel, in New York, there was an officer whose partner was in the middle of a bit of a Donnybrook, and she just started shooting what appeared to be blindly into that. I don't want that either. Understand, the victim has a vote here as well. The victim can move around, and she will move around. You can count on that. The victim will move and try to get away from him or try to push him off or whatever. So she's moving, he's moving. It's a really difficult shooting situation. I think he handled it almost perfectly.
Now, I want to note this too. He decides he's fired 11 rounds, and then he had to reload. What does that tell me? Look at this magazine. If you're a discerning customer, you recognize that as almost certainly a 10-round 1911 magazine is what it is. And so what was this guy shot with? 40 by God 5. Mike, I thought 45 was a magic death ray that one shot would, like, you know, kill his ancestors for 3 generations.
The only reason I don't carry 46 is they don't make it. Yeah, there's a ton of jokes to be made. Look, could that possibly be a double stack mag and it was an accidental release or whatever? It didn't seem like it to me. It seemed like a single stack Estendo magazine, and it seemed like he was intentionally doing a reload. We may never know, but understand the human body is funny. I've heard stories and seen videos, people shot a bunch of times in the face, a bunch of times in the chest with 9mm, 45, 40, whatever. And it doesn't mean they're automatically going to go sleepy night-night forever and ever. You got to be ready for that not to work the first, second, third, fourth. How many times, John? 11? Maybe up to 11 rounds at that distance in the face, neck, and upper torso. Understand, you're still dealing with an issue until he stops doing what he's doing. You can't be sure he stopped doing what he's doing.
Yeah, handguns about all do the same thing in terminal ballistics, right? So 9, 40, 45, 357, even 44, they all do about the same thing. And so what does that mean? If he's worth shooting once, you got to keep reassessing. Obviously, we don't just shoot a bunch just because. But in this case, clearly he needed to be shot 11 times. He was still acting. So our officer gets through the first magazine and reloads to the second one, reassesses, and doesn't have to shoot anymore. So really excellent shooting speed here, shooting at the speed he can see. Great reload, good decision at the end. Nope, the guy is slumping over, so I don't have to shoot him anymore. Now let's go follow-up actions. So really, our deputy who came through the door, I mean, gosh, man, this guy's a part of the Special Pants Brigade as far as I am concerned. And one of those crazy things, right? You got to flow to the problem, solve that problem as fast as you can, and keep thinking. Biggest thing here, it's more important to be a great thinker than it is to be a fast shooter. He was plenty fast with the gun. I think .35 splits with a 40 by God 5 is pretty spicy shooting. But to be a good thinker first, which he was, that's a bigger issue.
Listen, if anyone knows this deputy, have him reach out to me, Mike at activeselfprotection.com. I'm the one that gets the email. I'm the one that books the guests for our podcast. I would love to talk to you about it. John and I said a bunch of stuff about all the stuff that went on before, and I know from experience there could be circumstances that we don't know about that explains all of that, and I would love to know more. At the end of the day, these deputies handled their business. They got in there when it was time to go. They went and they handled it. They weren't worried about their safety as much as the innocent victim inside. That's what you want to see. Fantastic job, deputies, covering your ass.